So I'm very happy to see you here. So today we are going to talk about the introduction to Xero and benefits for e-commerce. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope you will find the content engaging, useful, and helpful. During this session, I will introduce you to Xero Cloud Accounting System, and we will talk through the major benefits of using Xero for e-commerce. We will also go through some practical examples in the second half of this session. The information I'm going to present to you is relevant mainly to business owners who are trading online or who are thinking about starting an e-commerce online business. Okay, so let's move on. What you are going to learn today. So today I am going to introduce you to Xero Cloud Accounting System and teach you how to perform some basic operations in Xero. Please be patient and stay with me until the end of this session if you want to benefit fully from this webinar. Just to let you know that the session is recorded and all of you will receive an email with a link to the video, to the recording of this webinar. So don't worry about taking notes during the presentation. What's the agenda for today? We are going to start with a brief introduction. Then I'm going to take you through some general explanation of what cloud accounting is in general for those of you who are not familiar with this. I'm going to talk about the benefits of cloud software like Xero. We are going to focus on Xero on today's session. I'm going to explain to you why Xero is the best solution for e-commerce businesses. So this will be a brief presentation which will take about 15-20 minutes just to start our webinar, and then we are going to move on to the practical part of the session. I'm going to log into Xero and take you through the demo company to show you how it looks like, how it feels like. So I'm going to show you the dashboard, how it is organized, what you can see in there. I'm going to show you a very useful functionality of Xero, which is a business performance overview. I'm going to show you how to process fundamental transactions in Xero. So how to process purchase invoices, how to raise customer sales invoices, how to raise, issue, and send customer quotes in Xero. I'm going to explain to you why it is very important to do bank reconciliations and how to very easily do them in Xero. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about possibilities, about options of integration between Xero and most common e-commerce platform. At the end of the session, we are going to have a live questions and answer session. So if you have any question in mind during the presentation, if it pops up, please note it, or you can type it into the Q&A box straight away, and I will answer them at the end. So let's start. A short introduction, a few words about myself. My name is Anita Sajkiewicz. I run my own online practice, Nimbus Accounting Limited, and I specialize in working with entrepreneurs, mainly e-commerce and online businesses across Ireland. We are fully online, so we are a remotely based business, so we connect from any location with businesses all over Ireland. We are a small family-run business. I started the business around 2 years ago. Prior to that, I spent around 20 years working in industry, mainly in big multinational companies. I gained experience in various financial and management accounting roles. I am a chartered accountant, ACCA, and my company is also a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. What is our mission? We help innovative and open-minded e-commerce businesses across Ireland start, manage, and grow their business so they can make informed decisions based on real-time financial information. Seems quite complex, but it is not, in fact. So what we do is we help online businesses get better understanding of how they are doing. I just want to mention here that we are not just traditional year-end accountants who prepare annual accounts, tax returns, and look after bookkeeping and payroll and so on. These are fundamental things every accountant should do, but on top of that, we provide our clients with ongoing support to help them manage finances in their business. What does in the cloud mean? To start our presentation with explanation of the fundamental concept of cloud accounting. I'm pretty sure that many of you are familiar with the concept, but for those of you who don't know it, I will just say a few words. So in the cloud means that all information related to your transactions is stored on external servers rather than on your hard drive, on your laptop, or on your PC. You can access your company records anytime from any device because everything is online. You just need the internet connection and you can manage your business without being tied to an office. So you can manage it working remotely. Why is the old-fashioned software not so good? That's a very valid question, and many people, many business owners are asking this. So the main problem with the old-style desktop software is lack of flexibility. This software only works on one machine where it is installed, and you have to move data manually from one computer to another. Moving files via email or using USB drives, external drives, is neither safe nor efficient. Apart from that, cost of backing up the data, updating and upgrading the software is really high for traditional desktop-based software. It can also be a very time-consuming and complicated process. Besides, the customer support is quite slow and expensive for traditional desktop-based software. What are the benefits of cloud software as opposed to traditional desktop software? So the cloud software allows you to process all transactions in real time, and you can always check how your business is performing. This software is flexible, easy to use, and can save your business a lot of time and money. The software, cloud software, is updated automatically. You don't have to worry about remembering about it, and the updates are always free. No installation or complex configuration of systems is required because everything happens online. You just log in into your browser, you go into your browser, log in to your software like Xero, for instance, and that's it. No installation, and there's a lot of help and tutorials available online, so you can basically teach yourself how to do it. The running costs for cloud accounting software are much lower in comparison with the expensive desktop software. You just pay a fixed monthly subscription fee, and that's it. You don't worry about any other fees in relation to the software. A very common and valid question: is your data secure in the cloud? In fact, yes, this is the most secure way of storing your financial information. You don't need to worry about the security of your data because your cloud service provider is responsible for the security of it. The cost is included in your monthly subscription, and it's on them to make your data secure. And every leading software company on the market will do everything they can, and they have the newest technology at their disposal to make sure your data and your files are safe in the cloud. For instance, if your desktop or laptop is damaged or stolen, your data is still safe because it is on the cloud server. It is not on your computer. So it's never a good idea to store files and to save files on your hard drive because it can be easily accessed by thieves or by any third-party person, and it is not safe. When your data is in the cloud, no one can access it unless they know your login and password. So once you store and protect your login and password, no one can access your data. All you need to do to use cloud accounting software is the internet connection, and any computer or even a mobile device like smartphone or a tablet. They are also designed to work on a tablet and on a mobile phone. So it's very many options. So why it's a good idea to switch to cloud software? Cloud software gives you flexibility to run your business from any location, even on the go. So it's particularly important for e-commerce businesses because the businesses are based online, they live online. So the business owner or the managing person for the business, they do not have to sit in a particular office in a particular location. They can be anywhere. And once they have internet connection, they can connect to their business. So other important factor is that you can be sure that you have the most up-to-date information about how your business is performing, because the data, the financial data that you enter into the system is updated live once you enter it, and everything is done and ready. You can run the reports anytime you want, and you are getting the up-to-date information about your business. You don't need to worry about software updates because they happen automatically in the background exactly when necessary. It is much easier and faster to develop and deliver updates in the cloud than in comparison with the traditional desktop software. You will get access to the newest versions instantly, so you can be sure that your software is always up to date. The next very important feature is being able to access your financial data from anywhere in the world, as I mentioned, and that means you can run your business remotely. This gives you precious freedom to manage your own time and to spend it however you like. Why you need cloud accounting for e-commerce business? That's e-commerce businesses nowadays, when we have to deal with the pandemic and the restrictions in relation to working from offices, e-commerce businesses started to pop up everywhere. So it's a perfect time. It's a very good opportunity to start an e-commerce business. However, you need to remember that in relation to the accounting and to taxation, it has its specific requirements. We have been working with e-commerce businesses for some time, and we noticed that more and more e-commerce businesses are having serious problems with accounting and reconciling their Amazon, Shopify, or WooCommerce transactions. The problem is that the traditional accounting software like Sage, desktop software, they are installed on your machine, on one computer, and they have no real-time connection with other applications, online applications like Shopify or Amazon, which register your e-commerce transactions. So that's the major issue. But Xero is different. Xero cloud accounting software integrates smoothly with most common e-commerce applications, and your e-commerce transactions will flow seamlessly from one system to another. This will make the reconciliation much easier and will save you really a lot of time and a lot of money when it comes to doing your accounts and doing your taxes at the end of the year. What are the most common problems facing e-commerce businesses in terms of accounting and taxation? E-commerce businesses do not always realize that eventually they will need to account for all these transactions which flow through their accounting their online shop. Many of them try to manage online sales using spreadsheets, and the reconciliation to the accounting system seems a never-ending story. And I agree, this can really be a nightmare. And apart from that, it's not always possible to reconcile when you are using spreadsheets. The thing is that nowadays we should move away from using spreadsheets. While they are really fantastic tools, they still require a lot of manual input from people. And this can be extremely time consuming. Besides entering your total sales as one-line journal at the end of the month or at the end of the year This is a worst case scenario, and it's really not a good solution. You have no idea where the sales are coming from, where you are making profits, where you are making losses. So it's really a bad solution because you don't have any control of what is happening in your business. You may think that you don't need regular accounting for your e-commerce business. After all, the money is flowing in, and it will be grand if you do the accounts once a year. But you can't be more wrong. Imagine you sell 300 items per month. If you multiply this by 12, you get 3,600 transactions, not to mention purchases you have to make to earn the revenue. Will you find an accountant who will process all of them in a few days to prepare your annual accounts or tax return? If you are lucky to find one, they will probably charge you a fortune. And not every accountant wants to deal with e-commerce transactions because of that. So you can really save yourself a lot of pain if you migrate your e-commerce business and account to a system like Xero. What is a common mistake for many small businesses? They start to look for savings by cutting on bookkeeping and accounting services. However, ultimately, it costs them much more to get the accounts done and to get them done properly, retrospectively, after the year has ended. Don't make this mistake and get your books in order from the start. You have great, fantastic tools at your disposal. Xero Cloud Accounting is a perfect solution, which will save you really tons of time and money. Before we go to the practical part of this session, I'd like to say a few words about trading accounts. What are trading accounts? These are final reports, in other words, financial statements produced after the year end on the basis of your bookkeeping records. These financial statements consist of profit and loss account. This is a statement showing your sales and revenues, expenses and profits. Another one is balance sheet. This is a statement showing your cash, other assets, liabilities, and capital. And there is a cash flow statement, which is showing your cash going in and out and your closing bank balance. I'd like to give you some advice on how to effectively prepare your trading accounts. In other words, your year-end financial statements. So advice number one, keep proper bookkeeping. Regularly keep record of your spending, expenses, earnings, register all purchase and sales invoices, receipts. The best approach is to schedule some time, one day a week, and go through all your invoices and receipts. It's much more efficient than doing it once a year or every couple of months. And a good advice is to keep a separate bank account for your business and personal money. This way you will have a better control over the performance of your business. You should gather all bank statements at the end of the year. It's best to download the list of transactions from your online banking. Everyone should have access to it, and save it in a spreadsheet in CSV format. Advice number two, use cloud accounting. I would strongly advise you to consider subscribing to cloud accounting package like Xero, for example, to stay on top of your bookkeeping. It is much, much easier to do it in the cloud. It saves you a lot of time and it gives you real-time access to your financial information. This way, you can manage your business easily. If you are looking for some advice on what package is best for you, I will be really happy to assist. Advice number three, engage an accountant. You may feel that doing the accounts is too much to handle. Not everyone wants to do it. So you may have not enough time, or you are completely not interested in accounting and taxes. In this situation, you can engage an accountant to help you with your bookkeeping. The accountant will set up your cloud system and will recommend the best package for you and advise you on the accounting and tax matters as well. You can also give them access to your books. So if you decide to do some bookkeeping yourself, you can give your accountant access to Xero, and they can manage the accounting processes for you. Again, if you would like some advice on you, if you'd like to talk about it, I will be delighted to help. Okay, so that concludes our theoretical part of the session. So now we will move on to the practical part. I will show you some examples. I'm going to show you really examples of how to perform fundamental operations in Xero cloud accounting system. We are going to look at a demo global company. And I'm going to show you Xero dashboard, as I mentioned at the beginning. I'm going to show you Xero business performance overview function. I'm going to show you how to process purchase invoices, how to raise and send customer sales invoices, how to issue customer quotes in Xero. We are going to look at bank reconciliations. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. And then finally, we are going to have a few words about integration of Xero and e-commerce. So let's move on and take a look at the practical examples. I'm going to stop sharing for a second, and we are going to switch to the example in Xero. Okay, you should see my screen now and the dashboard of the demo global company. I'll just take a quick look because I can see a couple of questions in the box. Okay, so we can go through them later. I just thought it may be something related to what we are talking about. Okay, so that's what you see when you log into your company in Xero. That's called a dashboard. So on the dashboard is flexible and customizable, so you can change it, you can remove some things from it, you can add some things to it. But what you can see at the moment is the most common layout. So here you can see your main current bank account. You can see your cash balance, your statement balance as per your bank account. You can see your statement balance, your balance in the books in Xero. So as you can see, there is a difference. So some reconciliations are required. And this is telling you, I'll go back for a second because we won't be looking at the bank reconciliations now. So it is telling you that there are 27 items to reconcile. So definitely this is something you need to look at. Then you can add any other bank accounts that you hold in the for your business, and they can be showed on the dashboard. So here you have a quick snapshot of your cash situation. So how much is your spending? How much is your how much money you earned? How much money you spent? This is a very high level overview. You can add some expense accounts to watch on the dashboard. So for instance, you know you spend a lot on advertising. You want to have a closer look at the entertainment expenses. So we can add them to the dashboard, and once an expense is posted, it will pop up here. And obviously you can drill down from any part of this dashboard into the details. So for instance, you can see, oh God, I spent over 9,000 on advertising this year. What is that? You click on the figure and the system will take you to the detailed list of transactions. So here you can see the transaction split by month. Okay, you can see that in October, you spent a lot. You drill down again, and you are having a look, what did I spend the money on? And you can see there are 2 transactions. And again, you can drill down even deeper into them and see what exactly the invoice was. Here we are at the very bottom section. We are in the invoice insert. You can see what it was, how much you spent on what, and so on. So from the dashboard, again, you can drill down to any section and see more detailed information. In this section, you can see the summary of invoices that are owed to you. So your sales invoices unpaid by your customers. You have 2 drafts, you have 10 invoices awaiting payment, and 9 are overdue. So that means something is wrong. You can see in red, it is even highlighted in red, 9 invoices for 1,000 worth 1,000 or 9,000 altogether are overdue. That's definitely something we need to look at. So you can drill down into here and see what's going on. Okay, so this customer didn't pay for this invoice. It is long overdue. They should have paid in November. I need to take action, okay? So this is how you can, from the top level, you can drill down to the bottom and see what's going on in your business. In this section, you can see bills you need to pay. Bills are purchase invoices in Xero. Invoices are sales invoices. This is how they differ between the two, how they differentiate between the two. You can see that in terms of supplier bills, you have 12 awaiting payment and 10 are overdue. So again, there is an issue here. So you haven't paid to your suppliers in quite a substantial amount, because from the total, from the 8,000 in total, 6,000 are overdue. Again, you can drill down and see what's happening here, what you didn't pay, what you need to pay as soon as possible. You can see that this one from the 7th of October, it's long overdue, so probably you should pay this one in the first, as soon as possible, okay? And what do we have? We can also add expense claims. So if you are claiming any money from the business, you can add the summary to the dashboard as well. And as I said, you can edit the dashboard. If you click on here, you can hide items. You don't want to see this one, so you hide it, save changes, and you don't see it in the dashboard anymore, okay? So that was the dashboard, a very high-level overview of what's going on in your business. To get a more detailed overview of the situation, there are two useful tools, very quick snapshots, but they give you quite useful information. So let's have a look at business snapshot first. If you go to here, this functionality will show you a summary of your expenditure and of your income. We are in the short-term cash flow module now. So this short-term cash flow will show you, it is based on the actual transactions that you had in the last couple of months. The system will pick the ones which are outstanding, the ones which you need to pay, and the expenses that you expect, the money due to you from your customers, and it will calculate the projected balance in the 30 days. So what is the summary telling us? It is telling us that today we have 1,700 in the bank. Our customers owe us 300, and we need to pay over 2,000 in bills. That means we have a little problem, because we are short of cash. We will not be able to pay our bills in 30 days time. So definitely this is something we need to look into. And here at the bottom, you can see the details of invoices owed to you. We can see that in 1 week, we are expecting 100 from this supplier, from this customer. And again, we can drill down and see the details. In 2 weeks time, we are expecting 200 from this customer. So perhaps we need to do something to get more cash, to get the money sooner, or perhaps definitely we need to do something with the bills we need to pay, because we have over 2,000 in bills payment. This is a large amount, over 2,000. Perhaps we can negotiate with the supplier to extend the payment terms. But this tool allows us to have a quick glance and to identify any potential serious issues with payments and receipts with cash flow, okay? And this will allow you to take action in advance, rather than waiting for the supplier to send you reminders, to charge you penalties because you didn't pay, you didn't have enough money in the bank, okay? So the system is even suggesting us the actions to take. So from the 8,000 of overdue invoices we are expecting to receive, we can add expected days. That means when we are going to receive the money. So the system is telling us that even though only 300 is owed to us from invoices which are issued recently, which have been issued recently, we have over nearly 9,000 of invoices issued, and perhaps we can collect some money earlier from the customers. Then we can drill down into the details and see, okay, and review. Perhaps Bayside Club, oh, this one is big, Ridgeway University. Perhaps we can renegotiate with them and ask them to pay as soon as possible, right? Because these invoices are overdue already. So in general, this feature, it's really helpful. It's a very quick, it's not a complex cash flow forecast. There are other tools to prepare more detailed cash flow forecasts, but this one is a quick one, which will allow you to identify any potential serious issues instantly, okay? So let's move on to the business snapshot. The business snapshot is not really, not so much about cash, it's more about profitability of the business. So here we choose the period which we want to look at. Let's say we want to look at this year to date, from January to date to the 10th of December. We change the period and the system is pulling data, Xero is pulling data from the accounting database, from the invoices that have been processed so far. And what is it telling us? It is telling us that this year we've made a profit of 3,122, which is pretty good, right? It can even compare this data with the prior period, with year 2019. The data is not here, that is why it is showing 0. But next year we will have the history for this year, and it will allow us to compare both periods, okay? So here a more detailed information to explain the profit. So our income, our revenue this year was 23,000, which is great. And then it is showing us the revenues month by month. We can see that the high jump the peak was in October. When we hover over it, it will give us more details. So in the period of October, we earned 12,000, which is pretty good. And then it started to slow down. Then in November, we earned less. And now we are earning very little. So there is something we need to do something about it, definitely, because our profitability is falling down by the end of the year. In the expenses, our expenses were 19, nearly 20,000 this year. And again, we can see the detailed graph, the trend throughout the year. And it also indicates that October was a particularly special month. We earned a lot, but we also spent a lot. So definitely we need to look at this month, but still we are in a profitable position, but the profits are falling by the end of the year. Okay. If we scroll down and we want to look at the expenses in more detail, it is also giving us the largest operating expenses in the period. So it is telling us that the largest expenses were on advertising. And we spent over 9,000 in advertising out of 19 or nearly 20 altogether. That's a significant part, okay? So perhaps we need to reconsider, maybe we should spend less because these expenses are not corresponding with the increase with the revenues, all right? So this is really guiding us, giving us hints at guiding us to where we should look for answers, where we should look for problems in our business. The next highest expense is rent, which is quite understandable. Usually when companies in general rent premises, their expense should be quite considerable, but there is a certain limit which shouldn't be exceeded. For instance, the rent cannot be half of the expenses. So this allows us to do a certain sense check if our expenses are reasonable. Again, in this section is our gross profit margin. So it's total revenues less direct costs. We can see that our margin is really high, which is very good. And at the bottom, we have a very high level overview of our financial position and cash. So it's just a summary of what was shown at the upper section. It will also show you the cash balance, the average time to get paid, and the average time to pay suppliers. We can see that something is wrong here. 1,000, nearly 2,000 days to pay the suppliers. That's very long. That means that there is a problem in the business because we are not paying our suppliers. And we need to look at the reasons why this is happening, okay? So that's the business snapshot. So now let's move on to have a look at how to process fundamental transactions in Xero. So we are going to look at purchase invoices and sales invoices. Just to remind you, purchase invoices are called bills in Xero. So you can start entering a bill from different sections of the screen or from different sections of Xero. I will show you the easiest one. So if you click on the plus and click on new bill, this will open a window to enter a new bill, which is a purchase invoice. So this is when you would use the screen when entering the invoice from the scratch. Just to let you know that there are other tools and applications which can scan your invoice and send directly to Xero. We are not going to focus on them today. HubDoc is one example of such an application. I'm going to show you how to do it in Xero only so you understand how this works. So in this field, you choose a supplier from the list. Let's choose this one. the date of the invoice is the 10th of December. Obviously, you can attach the invoice to, if you click on this one, you can attach the invoice, a scan of the invoice to this transaction. The due date, let's say, is in 1 week. A reference, you can put anything you want. Usually, it's the invoice number here. Okay. So you entered the total, let's say it is 100. You should be looking at the picture of this invoice at this moment. The currency, it is dollars here, so I'm going to leave it as it is because it's a demo global company. We would be using euro. So the description is test. You put the description as per the invoice. The quantity 1 unit, price 100, very simple. The account you are choosing from the list of expenses, because we are talking about a purchase invoice. For instance, let's say you paid for cleaning, for the office cleaning, okay? You choose the expense type from the list, from the chart of accounts. The VAT is added automatically. You can change it. For instance, there is 12% VAT on this invoice, not 8. So you change that, and that's it. That's it in relation to entering a simple invoice. You click approve, and the invoice is processed. It is booked in the system, okay? Just to say it again, that there are other tools. You don't need to enter it manually every time. If you use external applications, they will process your invoices automatically and send them to Xero. You will just need to do a review and final approval. Okay, so how to enter a sales invoice? The process is very similar. The fields are maybe a little bit different, but in general, it looks very similar. So for instance, let's say we are going to talk about issuing quotes like orders in a minute, but let's say we don't need an order for the invoice. You, for instance, you sold a consultation to your client, and now you need to issue an invoice. So you are choosing the client from the list, whatever, Bank West. The date is today, the due date is tomorrow, let's say. The invoice number is generated automatically by the system. Every new sales invoice you issue is getting a new sequential number. Apart from the invoice number, you can put a reference here. So the reference is anything you want to put. You can choose between the templates for the customer invoices. So you can create a couple of templates, different templates for different types of sales. So let's say this one is standard. This is what we are choosing. Before you process the invoice, before you continue with processing the invoice, you can preview how it looks like. This is how it looks like on the computer, on the desktop screen. This is how it will look like on a mobile phone, okay? And just to let you know that if you link online payments with your invoices in Xero, your customer will receive an invoice with a link to payment by PayPal or Stripe credit card. So everything can happen online. And similarly, you put a description, you enter the price. The account is chosen automatically because you may define it, but you can change it. It's maybe rather other revenue. Perhaps there is no VAT on it, so you choose tax exempt, and that's it. And that's the invoice. Once you approve it, that means it is processed and booked in the system. Let me show you what we can do next. So Xero is a little bit slow today. So the invoice is approved now, so it's booked in the system, and you can see that there is an online payment method, PayPal, linked to it. So the customer will have an option to pay the invoice automatically by PayPal, and you can email it to the customer straight to the system. So if there is, so every customer should have an email attached to their settings. So if not, you can enter the email manually. There is an an email template generated automatically by Xero. You can set it up. Once you click on send, the system will send an invoice to the customer. Okay, so it's as easy as that. And if you want to issue a quote to the customer before you send an invoice, there is an option to do it. The quote looks really similarly to how the sales invoice looks like. It will just tell that it is a quote, not an invoice. So you do exactly the same thing. You choose the customer, you choose the date of the quote, the expiry date. Let's say it's valid for 1 week, okay? and we do exactly the same thing. It's a test. For 100, we code it to sales account. There is no VAT on it, okay? And that's the quote. You can send it directly to the client by email, and they will get a document with the link and an option to approve the quote. Once they click on approve, the quote can be transformed into an invoice in Xero, and it can happen automatically too. So just to let you know that it can really simplify the process of invoicing and sending and collecting payments. You can set up payment reminders for your customer invoices. There is really a lot this system can do. Today I'm just giving you a quick overview of what it can do. Okay, so I'm just looking at what else we need to cover. So we have covered customer invoices, customer quotes. So now let's have a look at bank reconciliations. So first of all, why we do bank reconciliations? It's not only a question of looking at your closing balance at the month end or year end and comparing with the bank statement what you have with the books in the books. It's about matching every single transaction in your bank with every single transaction in Xero. Once they match, that means that the payment is applied to the invoice in Xero. It's clear, there is no money outstanding. And once every line is matched, the final effect is that both balances on the bank statement and in Xero have to match. Okay, but the main purpose is to match your payments and receipts with your transactions, so you know what was paid and what wasn't paid in relation to your purchase and sales transactions. So let's have a look. Doing bank reconciliations in Xero is really very simple. Why is it so simple and easy? Because the system is linking with your online banking. On the left-hand side, you can see your bank statement lines. So this can be pulled automatically from your online banking. The system will do it in background once you link it. You don't have to do anything. It will pull the transactions line by line from what went through your bank. On the right-hand side, you see the transactions processed in Xero. So your purchase invoices, your sales invoices, whatever other entries you entered in Xero, they are in here. And what do? Match one with the other. So you can see the system is suggesting matches straight away. So it is recognizing that on the 16th of November, you paid, yes, it's a payment. No, it's a receipt, sorry. You received €6,000 from Ridgeway University, and it is recognizing that there was a sales invoice number 0025 issued to Ridgeway University for the same amount, and it is suggesting that's a match. That's a payment for this invoice. You click OK, and it's gone. It's reconciled. Another one, some of them will be simple and straightforward. For instance, a similar situation. You received the payment on the 19th from Truxton. The system is recognizing that there was a purchase invoice for the same amount and date, the same supplier, and it's a match. You click OK. Some transactions will not suggest direct matches, but there are explanations, and you can learn and you can find out what cases these are, and also it won't be difficult to match them. For instance, Smart Agency 4,500, there is no match. We can expand our search and type in the name or start of the name of the supplier, exclude USD amounts only because it may be a payment in a different currency, and there you go. We have two matches suggested. One invoice for 2,000 and one invoice for 2.5. That would be it, right? We tick both of them, and the system is telling us, yes, it's a match, reconcile, okay? And it's as simple as that. So once you go through, you should do it regularly, really, depending on the number of transactions. It could be every day for a high volume of transactions, but I would suggest at least weekly. So you do it regularly, you stay on top, you know that you received payments from your suppliers, you know that you paid from your customers, you know that you paid your suppliers, and you have much better control of your business. All right? So that would be it in relation to high-level overview of Xero. The system it's really not difficult to use. It's very intuitive, but it is very capable and flexible. It has many options which allow to make your life easier, in fact. So to end this practical part of the session, I would like to say a few words about integration of Xero and e-commerce platforms. So I mentioned to you that it is possible to link the e-commerce platforms that you are selling on, Amazon or Shopify. Let's focus on these two examples, to link them directly with Xero. So what is the effect? So every sales transaction that you will go through your online shop will be exported to Xero. So you will not have to enter these sales invoices manually. They will appear, for instance, like we can see here in the bank transactions list. They will appear automatically in the system. So you can define the settings, tell it how to code it, which sales account, and so on. And once you do the link once, the transactions will flow in. They will be synced every couple of hours, I think. So what you can do is just to do your bank reconciliations, just to do your double check, just to do your approval. It depends. You can set up different levels of your intervention into how it happens. But in general, it can be fully automated. So minimum intervention from you will be required. And because the transactions are matched and reconciled on an ongoing basis, there is no issue at the end of the month that you cannot reconcile your bank movements with what you sold on Amazon and you don't have any idea what you were paid for exactly. Okay, so that's the major benefit of it. So as I mentioned, Xero is integrating with most common platforms: Amazon, Shopify, eBay, WooCommerce. These are the most common ones. And it's really, when you are starting and when you are already running e-commerce business, or you are thinking about starting e-commerce business, think about your accounting system at the beginning, because doing a catch-up after a year, we can migrate from any platform after a year or even 2 years, but it's much more expensive and time consuming when we have to migrate historical transactions to Xero. So the best idea is to think about it at the beginning and set it up at the beginning of your business as early as possible. Okay, so I will stop sharing my screen for now, and let's go back to our presentation for a minute, and we will just conclude the session and move on to. Okay, just let me share my screen. Okay, you should see my presentation at the moment. Think about the questions, because we are going to move to the questions and answer sessions in a minute. Just a quick summary of what we discussed. So we talked about the benefits, about cloud software in general, about the benefits of cloud software and the benefits for e-commerce. In the practical section, I showed you the dashboard overview, business performance functionality. I showed you how to purchase invoices in Xero, how to raise customer invoices and quotes, and how to do bank reconciliations, and we talked a little bit about Xero integrations with e-commerce platforms. So just a few words about our business, about my business, Nimbus Accounting, and how we can help you. So we can advise you on the best option to start your e-commerce business in terms of legal and tax structure. We can migrate your existing business from any platform to Xero, as I mentioned, but the best idea is not to wait and then migrate after a year or a couple of months. The best idea is to start with fresh. When you start your business, start with the accounting system. So we have great accounting packages with a lot of value, so you can really benefit from them. And we also include regular training, masterclasses, and webinars for business owners. So if you would like to know more, just book a discovery call with me. It's free. You can book it through our website, and we can discuss your needs and how we can help you. So it's time for our questions and answers session now. So please type your question into the question and answers box, and I will try to answer it as best as I can. I can see there are already a couple of questions here, so let's go through them. Is cloud data backed up in case the remote server is damaged or destroyed? So the answer is yes. So from what I know, the largest software providers like Xero will definitely use the newest technology. They store the information in so-called cloud servers, and it is not one server. This is a couple of servers, and the data is copied and migrated between them. So technically, there is no risk that one of them will break down because there is always a backup somewhere else. So literally, I would say it's the safest way of storing your data. Next question. Just wondering if we can store our receipts or bills on Xero. Thank you. Yes, we can. As I showed you, you can attach your receipt or your invoice to each transaction that you process in Xero. There is also a functionality. Xero has a cloud storage file linked to your account, and you can store your documents there. Or there is also another way, if you are using another application to process your invoices and receipts like HubDoc, it can store any receipts, any documents that you have, even bank statements or anything you want to store there. So there are many options to store your documents in Xero or in any other corresponding applications. Next question. What happens when receipts are less than invoices because of, say, bank charges? So it's question of the accounting. So you split the payment, and one part you code to bank charges and the reminder you code to the invoice. So it's more an accounting question, okay? So I would have to show you an example, but you just split the amount and code it to 2 expense lines. That's how you do it. Next question from Emer. I'm sorry, I didn't tell any names. So the questions were from Paul, Louisa, and this question is from Emer. Do you have a solution to the Irish bank's issue with Xero where will no longer import the bank details come January? That's a fantastic question, Emer. I didn't go into that because I really don't know what level of information you have, but yes, it is true. From the 1st of January, when the Brexit kicks in, the direct feed, so-called direct feed and direct link between Xero and Irish banks, AIB and Bank of Ireland, will not be available. However, we have other options of getting the bank transactions into Xero. Okay, so direct feed means that transactions pull through automatically, go through automatically every day, right? And the other option is to upload transactions via a file. So it's an additional step, but you do it once. You can do it once a week, depending on how often you do your bank reconciliations. You get your list of transactions, your CSV file from your online banking, and you upload it to Xero. It's one operation. It is an additional step, but still it doesn't add too much work, all right? We are still hoping that they will find a solution after the 1st of January, but it will take them a little bit of time because of legal issues. They have to legalize everything after Brexit and find new solutions of how they can provide the service. Okay, so these are the questions that I already see in the box. Are there any other questions? Okay, I can't see any other questions, so perhaps someone will think about them and they will pop up in a minute or so. So for now, let's move on with our presentations. With our presentation, it is just the final summary and a few things I would like to tell you. So I just want to mention here that I am planning to publish a full online course on the basics of Xero cloud accounting. During this course, I will dive deeper into the aspects that we touched on today, and I'm going to introduce you to some more practical aspects of processing transactions in Xero and also using external applications to automate the accounting. The course is going to be released early next year. So please keep an eye on the emails from me and the announcements on social media about this. So I can see one more question in the chat box. Thanks for the excellent lecture. Thank you very much, Kyung. I'm happy you enjoyed it. So it's time to wrap up. So just as a conclusion, I want to share this quote with you. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. So it's as simple as that. Please take what you've learned today and apply it in your day-to-day running of your business. Again, I'm going to send the recording of this webinar to everyone who attended, so just in case you need to go back to it. Please keep an eye on emails from me and announcements on social media. I encourage you to follow my social media profile, as I will be providing more useful information. And that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. One last word, don't forget to sign up to my free Facebook group, Online Entrepreneurs Support Ireland. The link is on the screen. You are very welcome to join. Thanks again for attending. I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.